If you're trying to get funding for your indie film and wondering, where do I even start? In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to get the money step by step, even if you've never done this before. The key is not just knowing the options, it's knowing how to prepare your plan like a pro. I'm Joyce Mishaan, a filmmaker, executive producer, and TV and film for over 15 years and a career coach for Storytellers. Before we dive in, here's a little bit of industry insight. According to the Independent Film and Television Alliance, independent films generate approximately $4.8 billion in revenue every year. So yeah, there's real money in indie film, but breaking into that space means that you have to approach your project like a business. And that starts with getting your plan in shape because no one funds a film without a strategy. So let's break down the 5 critical steps that you need to take before you ask anybody for a single dollar. Step 1 is knowing your budget to the dollar. The first thing that any financier will ask is, what's your budget? And trust me when I say that saying around 4 to 5 million is not a good answer. You need a specific, detailed, thoughtful budget down to the dollar. This shows that you're serious, that you've done the work, and that you know what it takes to get the film made at a professional level. And I cannot tell you how many filmmakers come to me with a great script, but no real budget, and they wonder why investors aren't taking them seriously. Your budget needs to account for everything. That's above the line costs, production, post, music, insurance, legal, contingency, everything. And it's not just about adding up numbers, it's about demonstrating that you understand the real costs of making a film at your specific scope and scale. Step 2, understand that film is a business. And this is where so many creative people get stuck. Your story and your craft are very important, but you're not just making art. You're building a product. And like any business, there's money going out. That's your budget. And money coming in. That's your distribution revenue. You have to understand how your film will make money. Not how you hope it will make money, but how films like yours actually make money in today's marketplace. And when I coach filmmakers, this is often the hardest mindset shift. Seeing your film through the eyes of people who are making financial decisions, not just artistic ones. The good news is once you get this, everything else becomes a lot easier. Step 3 is to build your distribution plan. This is your revenue roadmap. So will your film be in theaters or streaming or transactional platforms where people rent or buy or all of the above? Most filmmakers dream of Sundance plus a Netflix deal, but those 7-figure acquisitions are becoming increasingly rare. And if that's your only plan, you're basically buying a lottery ticket. What's more realistic is building a strategy around your specific audience, drawing insight from comparable films and how they performed and how you'll reach that audience. That's your marketing angle. For example, if you're making a horror film with a strong female lead, you need to know what similar films have grossed and what platforms they performed well on and what marketing angles resonated with that audience. Distribution is where your financiers get their return, so you need to show that path clearly. And this doesn't mean that you need all the answers, but you need to demonstrate that you understand the landscape and have multiple paths to revenue. Step 4 is to map out a financing strategy. Once you know your budget and your distribution plan, you can reverse engineer how to cover the cost. This is where the 6 funding methods come back in. And maybe that's tax incentives that cover 30% of your budget, crowdfunding that covers another 20%, and private investors cover that final 50%. Or maybe it's 25% from a distributor pre-sale, 30% from grants, and the rest from equity. Every project has a different mix, and your job is simply to map it clearly. And here's the thing. Having this clear plan is what separates the amateurs from the professionals. And when I sit down with investors or grant makers, they tell me the same thing. What impresses them isn't necessarily a fancy script or even major attachments. It's seeing that a filmmaker has a clear, realistic plan for how the money flows in and flows out. Step 5, get your pitch materials in order. Before you talk to anyone, grants, investors, even crew, you need your pitch materials to be tight. This includes your deck, your lookbook or sizzle, your why this film, why you, why now story, and your bio and past work. And these materials tell the story of your film as a professional opportunity. They're creating context for why somebody should invest their time, energy, or money, or all of the above in your vision. Don't go asking for money until you have this stuff ready. It's like going to a job interview without a resume. You might be the perfect candidate, but without the right materials, you won't even get in the door. And guess what? Having these materials ready sets you apart from 90% of filmmakers out there who are running around asking for money without doing the prep work. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be connected. You just need a smart plan, a clear budget, and the courage to ask. And that's how first-time filmmakers get funding, and that's how you can too. Now that you know how to prepare for funding, the next step is building a pitch deck that actually gets people to say yes. And I show you how to do that right here.